September 12th, 2022, Halfcast 347, episode 347, let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? Drunk man breaks into ex-girlfriend's home and dumps her child's ashes. This is nasty work from this guy because he knew exactly what was a sore point, what really hurt this woman, and he wasted no time in going for it. Maybe this is what she saw in the guy. That's the reason why they weren't together anymore in the first place. A man who said he was drunk allegedly broke into his ex-girlfriend's home and threw her deceased child's ashes in the garbage. Joseph Oberlees, 33, was captured on camera at 3 a.m. on Saturday, approaching his ex-girlfriend's residence, entering the security code, and going inside, according to a report obtained by WCIV. Has moving on become a dying art? Whatever happened to just moving on? The footage showed Oberlees leaving the house in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, minutes later, returning just after 4 a.m. and finally departing close to 8 a.m. What's concerning about this is that if you're on the outside looking in, you probably wouldn't know that they're not together anymore. So to see him making multiple trips back and forth to their apartment wouldn't look like anything out of the ordinary. He could have had this woman in here doing just about anything to her and nobody would have known. He looks like a Joe from You type of guy, the type of guy that'll say, I'll leave you, you don't leave me. One of those, it's not over until I say it's over type of morons. The woman added that Oberlees would have not known that she and her children were not at home and could have committed violent acts toward them if they had been there, the report states. Luckily, fortunately, they weren't home. Can you imagine walking into your apartment with your kids and this man is in the middle of trashing your place? Or even worse, what's even more disturbing is what if you walk in with your children and he's just sitting there waiting for you? Oberlees initially told police he was in West Ashley at the time of the break-in, but once presented with the video evidence, Oberlees claimed he was blackout drunk and had no recollection of what he did. He's a goddamn liar. Which could quite possibly be another one of the growing list of reasons why they're not together anymore in the first place. He was arrested on Thursday and charged with destruction of human remains and first-degree burglary. Oberlees was booked into the Al Cannon Detention Center in North Charleston the morning of his arrest and released that evening on a $60,000 bond. Oberlees and the woman dated for a few months in the beginning of summer 2022. She reportedly trespassed Oberlees from the residence on August 23rd. I applaud that woman for not waiting for that man to roll out his whole package of red flags. One or two things don't sit right with me this early on in a relationship, you gotta go. Police sent a warning to be on the lookout to the school that the woman's other children attend and up patrols. Oberlees was out on bond for a prior arrest on August 5th, for which he faces first degree and battery charges, jail records show. The incident was strikingly similar. Oberlees allegedly broke into the house of another ex-girlfriend and stabbed her. Whatever that woman saw early on that caused her to break it off could have quite possibly saved her and her children. Trust in your gut. Next up. Police track AirPods to locate baby inside stolen vehicle. Finally, people are starting to use these devices for something other than catching their cheating ass partners. Philadelphia police used a mother's AirPods to locate her child inside a stolen vehicle Monday, today. The incident occurred around 3 a.m. when a 2020 Nissan Rogue was reportedly stolen from the mother's home, CBS Philadelphia reported. Police were able to locate the child and the stolen vehicle by tracking the AirPod earbuds the woman had left in the vehicle, which police found abandoned. According to Fox 29 Philadelphia, the baby was reportedly unharmed and reunited with his mother. The suspect remains at large, though. GPS integration through Apple devices such as AirPods has been a helpful tool to aid law enforcement in recovering stolen vehicles, according to Auto Evolution. You had the woman from Indianapolis that used the AirTag to track her boyfriend to a bar where he was allegedly with another woman, and she ran him over and killed him. Then you had the Miami police officer who was using the AirTag to terrorize his ex-girlfriend because she didn't want to be with him anymore. Gee, I wonder why. So I'm happy law enforcement have finally found a niche for these devices, these Apple AirTags and Apple AirPods, because thus far people have been using them for nothing but villainy. Next up, Oklahoma inmate forced to listen to Baby Shark on a loop found dead. Once was enough for me. This is detainee level torture. An inmate who had accused his jailers of torture, see, I'm telling you, torture, by alleging they forced them to listen to the repetitive Baby Shark pop song playing on a loop, has been found dead. This is the same Oklahoma prison system that's been beta testing lethal injections on inmates to see which one works. John Bosco was found unresponsive in his cell in the early hours of Sunday at the Oklahoma County Detention Center, according to a press release issued by authorities. Officers tried to save the 48-year-old's life and worked on him until emergency responders arrived and continued efforts to resuscitate him, jail officials said in a statement, but he was pronounced dead shortly after 4:05 a.m. Just reeks of foul play. Bosco, who had been booked into the jail on Thursday over a drug trafficking complaint, made headlines around the world in 2021 after he and 3 other inmates sued Oklahoma County Commissioners Sheriff Tommy Johnson III, the jail trust, and 2 former jailers following a previous stint at the facility back in 2019. They accused former detention officers Gregory Cornell Butler Jr. and Christian Charles Miles of forcing them to listen to Baby Shark blaring out on repeat, occasionally for hours, while he stood handcuffed to the wall of a visitation room. Former Lieutenant Christopher Raymond Hendershot was also accused of knowing about the practice and doing nothing to stop it at the jail in Oklahoma City. This is the type of treatment that causes riots and causes people to get hurt unnecessarily. A 2020 investigation reportedly confirmed the inmates had been disciplined in this way, and the 2 detention officers were fired and charged with misdemeanor counts of cruelty to a prisoner and conspiracy. Hendershot had already retired. Lawyers representing the detainees have described the incidents as torture events, and the case is ongoing. It is not yet clear how Bosco died, and the state's office of the chief medical examiner will investigate to determine the cause of death. Mark Upgrant, director of communications for the jail, told the Oklahoma newspaper one of the possibilities being investigated is that it was a drug overdose. Likely story. However, Bosco's attorney, Cameron Spaulding, said he found news of the death disturbing and called for a thorough investigation. I'm really bothered by this, he told the Oklahoman. One of the Baby Shark victims, don't call him that. That's horrible, is conveniently dead within 3 days of his arrival at the jail. How does that happen? District Attorney David Prater just lost one of his witnesses for the upcoming criminal trial. For me, this one does not pass the smell test. No, it does not pass the smell test. They seen an opportunity to get rid of one of the key witnesses, and they didn't hesitate. They didn't pass it up. Newsweek has reached out to Spaulding and the jail for further information. Bosco's death marked the 14th inmate death at the jail this year, the Oklahoma reported. Fun show. Fun show. Fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.